Welcome to Stories of Scale. I'm Shruthi SURAKSH, and this is the podcast that explores one idea that before anything grows on the outside, something shifts on the inside. Before a brand earns trust, before a business finds its footing, before the numbers start to move, a person goes through something that no one quite sees. A belief forms, a decision gets made, usually quietly, with very little certainty. And that invisible shift becomes the foundation of everything that follows. Today's guest built something that started with an observation, a very simple one about what Indian parents were doing and why. That observation turned into a conviction. That conviction turned into a brand. And that brand has now spent over a decade proving that the observation was absolutely right. She trained as an engineer, built her business acumen through one of India's finest management schools, and then walked into one of the hardest retail categories in the country. That is kidswear, at a time when the organized market was barely finding its shape. She is the co-founder of Under 14 Only, popularly called as UFO, a children's and preteen clothing brand built for kids aged 2 to 13. Operating out of Bangalore and quietly growing toward an ambition that is larger than India. Presenting to you today, Shriya Agarwal. Welcome to Stories of Scale, Shriya.
Thank you so much.
So before we get into anything, I want to start somewhere simple. Not the brand, not the journey. We just want to speak about you, Shriya, as a person. Who are you outside of everything you've built till now?
Deep inside, I'm a girl who's chasing a dream to grow bigger and bigger. Not for myself, not to fulfill my worldly ambitions, but for a larger cause. A cause which is there to help others, a cause that reflects out the pain of others. And that is where we are, and this is why we are building.
That's so nice. So you are thinking something that is not self-driven. Absolutely the opposite of narcissism, I would say. So let's get to something that is deep as a passion that you have picked up this project as your very own passion, and that's how you came about it. So you trained as an engineer and then went to the top schools for your MBA. When in those years did you have any sense that you'd end up building a children's clothing brand? What did you imagine the path looking like? Did you even imagine that you would build a children's clothing brand then?
So quite honestly, I knew I was going to do something of my own. I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I was not very sure on what it was. So when I graduated from engineering, I never looked at engineering as getting some technical skills or learning how things work. It was more about tuning your brain, more about sharpening your mind, more about building the analytical skills that engineering requires.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. I feel education in general is more like it is not defining that this is what you will pursue, although it may define that.
It allows exploration.
Yes, but it actually just grooms you as a person and grooms your mind.
Yes.
So once I passed out of engineering, surprisingly on campus, JP Morgan came in. And they recruited 5 engineers that year from all over India.
Okay.
And I happened to be one of them.
Congratulations.
And that is when you realize that they also identified the analytical skill that an engineer carries.
Yes.
And we trained out there for a couple of months before I pursued into an MBA. And I was sure that I am going to pursue something of my own. I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. But what it was going to be, I was not sure about.
So let's go back to the very beginning of Under 14 Only, not the launch day, not the strategy meeting. Okay, so that moment before all of that, you observed something that most people around you had simply accepted. What did you see and why did it bother you enough to do something about it as a business itself?
So, well, I'm brought up in a textile family. I have seen fabric all my life.
From your parents' side as well?
Yes.
Okay. And you married into a
textile-
family?
Yes, into a apparel family.
Right.
Well, what happened really is that a lot of parents would come and they're like, oh, you're going abroad? Can you pick up this for my child and get it? My child is 4, but I don't even mind if it's a 6-year-old, I mean, a 6-year-old garment. And then we would have some people come in to our export unit and say, are you manufacturing kidswear? Can I take some kidswear off your exports? And we were like, why? Why is this demand there in India for children's wear, which you're not getting here, but you're happy to buy abroad at whatever cost it is and even stock it for 2 years, 3 years, till your child actually grows into it.
So when I go shopping, I would pick up from 2 to 3 years, then 3 to 4 years,
Yeah.
and then 6 to 7 years and stock it up.
Correct.
Right. So people generally do that.
Yeah, so the answer that came out of these parents was that you do not get adult looking or cleaner looking clothing for kids wear in India. Fashion in kids wear is more about comfort. If the
Comfort,
child
yes.
is able to move freely in those clothes, do all his activities, not care about the stains on his clothes, not care about that mark, but still satisfy the mother that it looks nice, it looks trendy, it is in sync with today's day and age. That is kids wear fashion.
Yeah.
So it's that pop in your adult wear clothing which you bring out as kids wear fashion. What that actually prompted us to feel was that we manufacture for the world.
Mm-hmm.
We manufacture for American Eagle, Ralph Lauren, and all the other big brands
We are
that
known
stay
for
abroad.
the textile
exports.
exports.
We can't manufacture for our own people back here.
Correct.
And it just felt sad that our own people had to look everywhere to get clothes for their children, when India was known for its manufacturing.
So what went from here, they bought
Back
on the
there
reverse
and brought it back.
by
which-
paying extra taxes and
Yes.
prices. Yes.
So that is where the idea came about from.
Mhm.
And at that point of time, you didn't have international brands in India.
Mm-hmm.
You had some classic Indian brands, and their taste or their appeal didn't work for metros and tier ones.
Right.
Now, of course, as times have evolved, the tastes for metros, tier ones, tier twos, tier threes has all evolved.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer that tier 2 and tier 3 is different from the metro or a tier 1. I think online helped us bridge that gap really well. And social media just took it to another level.
Right.
So now we're all on the same page. We're all demanding similar stuff. It's just that some have it available in a store next to them while the others have to hunt for it because they still don't have those products.
So this entire behavioral aspect of a consumer going abroad and bringing stuff was an idea that sat in your mind. But was it so deep that you said, let me start a business line on this?
Yes, because, also it kind of made you feel that if I am manufacturing for the world,
Mm-hmm.
why can't I manufacture for my own people? And then
Right.
when you study deeper, you realized that there are so many brands that have made it big,
Mhm.
okay, whether globally and in the domestic market as well. But which domestic brand has actually made it big globally from India?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of made you question that what is it that you lack that you can't make a brand that does well domestically and internationally?
So you are saying global and international now, but what was your vision when you started it?
It was that.
It was to go global.
It is, in fact, the larger vision is much larger, and maybe one day we will talk about it.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
but it was the fact that to create a brand that does not only satisfy the needs of an Indian consumer, but is
Mhm.
also acceptable abroad.
Shriya.
And the first target, of course, being Indian consumers, because that is where it actually came from, the need, the demand, the requirement, and we not being able to fulfill it as a country.
Right. So you walked into one of India's hardest retail categories, that is kidswear. It was dominated by the unorganized sector. That means anywhere and everywhere in India, we found kids' clothing that did not have a brand. The price tags were different. It could cater to everyone and anyone. So your customer literally outgrows your product every few months.
That's
right?
true.
So the shelf life in each one's wardrobe is really, really short. So I think price is also the constant battle because of the unorganized structure being market being more heavier than the organized sector.
So yes, of course, unorganized is heavier than organized, and unorganized is surprisingly no longer cheap. Okay, I think that there is a big shift in Indian consumers from when we started to what it is now. Indian consumers back then would look for cheap, affordable clothing which would last them 3 months and just chuck it. Now, people are willing to maybe pay a slightly extra value for quality.
Sustainable also.
For
Yeah, you
quality.
could use it for longer.
For quality, because at the end of the day, when they see their child wearing it, they should not feel कि ये कितना shabby है. You know, they should feel good about the child being dressed like that.
You know, as adults, we dress, we spend time on choosing what to wear, which location, which occasion we are attending. And when it came to kids, it was more like they were on a routine of going to school, come back, and you know, you're in uniform when in school in India, and then post school you have activities which are again athleisure, then even more simpler cotton wear, and post that is nighttime. So where was it that you found market? Yes, when you've started this, the UFO, I think it's a decade now. So by
Yeah.
then the customers had evolved to saying there are occasions where the kids are going to be present and they need to dress in a certain fashion.
So, yeah, but I mean, that is not the market that we were looking at cater to. We were not looking at creating apparel for wedding wear or creating apparel for, say, a high-flying birthday party where she wants to wear those frilly frocks. No, that was not what we were looking at.
Was it comfort?
We were looking at that segment that you come back from school, you wear something that you feel nice in. So even if you go to somebody's house for a play date, you're happy about wearing it. Your mum is happy about wearing it. You're also okay to wear that for a movie. You're also okay to wear that for maybe a lunch. And it serves multiple purposes, okay, but is comfortable, looks nice, and is fashionable.
Your customer literally outgrows your product every few months. Price is the constant battle. You had options, paths that would have been smoother. Why this then?
Well, again, like if nobody is going to address it, somebody has to jump in. I mean, for our children, come on.
So, what did you have the first mover advantage here?
Well, no, there were brands that
There
were
were
there,
brands.
but they were not with the same aesthetics that we had launched in.
And the intention.
Yes, and also the other thing is price can be a battle, but we are ready to take that head on.
Right.
Okay, inventory can be a battle because you're dealing with, say, 7 to 10 sizes depending on how the brand decides to size it, and each of them running into multiple options, multiple colors, multiple designs. So
A lot of inventory management. I would
inventory
say.
is a battle. Bigger battle is sizing. Sizing, because what you will see a north kid versus a south kid in terms of body shape structure is very different. So sizing being the bigger battle, but we were happy to take that on because we felt strongly for a problem that we were willing to resolve.
So, clothing across is definitely difficult with size. But how do you battle it because you are catering to an all India market?
Well, honestly, it didn't come in easy. Okay, there were a lot of challenges. We had to keep redoing our sizing till we actually felt that this is it. So what we did is typically we created a size chart which was based out of a European size chart. Our body structures are very similar to a European as compared to maybe a North American. And then we tweaked it for an Indian body. We actually ran trials from north to south with live kids with those apparel. Then based on the tweaking, based on the fit tests that we did some more tweaking.
Okay.
And then we arrived at a size chart which we released into the market.
Nice.
Okay, this size chart again received feedback, which we again worked on and compared it with the competitor brands back then.
Right.
And post that arrived at a size chart which we do not think is ever going to be perfect, but I think is going to be good. And now the feedback that we get on that size chart is that it works for everyone, which is great. Of course, now if you're a bigger built child, we do recommend that you pick a bigger size, or if you're a smaller build child, you do pick up a smaller size. Thankfully, Indian moms have naturally the sensibility to choose that. And in addition to that, we make our sizing very evident on our all the portals that
Online
we
portals.
sell, etc., and our offline institutes. And hence, if there is any reference that they need to pull out of, they can do that and pick the appropriate size.
So you see, just one aspect of their brand for size had so much research done, so many trials done, and then more additions and more layers till they got it perfect. So
But you know what
panned for
happens every
many
season
years.
in an apparel brand is that every season when you create a collection, because the audience is still quite diverse when it comes to kidswear, there is this educated or the aspiring lot that would require a certain amount of apparel, a certain kind of apparel, and there is this other lot which may not know that they really want it, but they actually buy it. So we actually have to test market our product every season.
Okay.
So every
It's an
season,
ongoing thing.
Yeah, we create a collection. We call retailers from all over India. We have our retail sales team sitting in. We have mothers coming in as batches, and they are sitting and rating our garments before we actually decide what actually gets launched.
Now I'm talking about your personal journey. So your business required you to start from scratch and take it to where it is today. And parallelly, you being a mom, you had kids at the same time. So life was not pausing when this brand was being built. How did you balance that out?
Honestly, support really matters. Okay, and I had the push and support of my co-founder. Okay,
That is
who
your husband?
Yes, happens
That
to
is
be
so
my
nice.
life partner as well. I couldn't let that one go.
Mhm.
And I think he really stood by it. Of course, we were both driven towards this project with equal intensity, and maybe him more than me. And the fact that life would go on and I was still able to manage that was something that I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I did it. And you just learn to balance and plan better and schedule better and remove time for all the small things that you cannot ignore in your personal journey, which are also equally important, maybe more important.
What you said is right. There needs to be a work balance and your time dedication to the family. You can't ignore both. But honestly speaking, now let's get to the harsh truth. I don't find a very good balance that can be justified saying we have it between work and family, because work is demanding at times.
So I would say each day has its own moods. Okay, but I think what is very important is to have a larger goal in life. If you're able to define that this is my larger goal, and to achieve this larger goal, this is priority number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you're able to kind of put that down on paper very clearly, so that when there is a battling priority event coming in, you choose based on what you've written. That actually helps you decide what to pick at what time, and then you go back guilt-free. But mommy guilt is forever.
That is
Okay,
true.
but when that mommy guilt kicks in on certain days, you have your partner standing by you, telling you that, you know what, years later, he's going to be there. And that is what co-founders are for, right?
Yes.
I remember I met Mr. Amit Gupta from Yulu Bikes, and he was telling me about this, that go find a co-founder who's exactly opposite of you. Who
can
is
step
who is-
in when you're-
who is, when you're low, he's there to push you, and when
Yeah.
he's low, you're there to push him, and
Yeah.
that is what worked for me. I think it is the beauty of being a woman,
No, that is
to be
true. So
able
I was
to
getting
wear
there.
so many hats, to be able to do so much, and then look at yourself in the mirror and say, yes, dude, I did it.
You wear many hats. As women or moms, I feel we do have a structure that we kind of build to support what we are doing. So you have help in terms of family, in terms of the team you're building, in the staffing business. I'm saying there could be a certain point where you have to have one foot in either side, and that balance is a little hard.
So let me put it like this, okay? I again will go back to the tree of priority. Okay, if you have that sorted, you are going to be able to make a decision. And then, so now let me explain this a little bit more in detail. So if you have something that's hitting your priority 2 and 3, maybe you'll go fully committed to priority 2, and on priority 3 you'll take a slight hit.
Yes.
Does that mean you will compromise completely? No. For example, if I am at a wedding and I need to take a call on a certain product being reproduced, it's already been produced, being reproduced, and I need to take a call on, say, something as small as a fabric, and I'm not there to actually touch it, feel it, understand it, I will go on with the decision of my team.
Yes, that's what I said.
Actually, team is the key.
Yes. I
Whether
think
it is at
a
home
strong team
or whether it is at office,
Mm.
team is the key. If you
Yeah.
do not have a good team, there is no way you can actually go wherever you want to. I think the structure is very important. So although we have a structure for everything, like coming back to organizational structure, I think there is a separate team that does follow-ups. There is a separate team that does, your CRMs, production, merchandising, retail merchandising, so many other different departments. And then,
So were you involved from the think tank to build this entire organizational structure?
yes, of course,
Yes.
it was not me alone. It was me and a couple of other people, including my co-founder.
Okay.
So it's never a solo journey.
Right.
Startup or any new business that you start is actually a way of spiritually evolving, because you then have to learn to accept somebody else's decision, which may sound correct on paper but does not go down you emotionally. So it is a journey. It is a self-evolving journey, and I think it's
Wonderful.
beautiful because it evolves you really well.
So, in every business, at one point in time, or rather, on a regular basis today, thanks to the competition, we do feel that there is a lot of pressure, right, on what we're doing, the targets set. Everyone's calendars are chock-a-block today, and there is a certain expectation of you, and it could be that as a person, I'm finding it very hard to deal with. So, in such a low point, what makes you pick yourself up, back yourself, irrespective of your co-founder's support?
So I think there are 2-3 things. Okay, I think it is very natural to feel overwhelmed. If you don't feel overwhelmed, you're definitely superhuman. Okay.
Yes, yes.
I think there are 2 things that largely help you. The first thing is that to remember the joy that you had when you actually solved a problem, which in our case has come in many ways. And the second thing I think is to always, when you're overwhelmed, your heart is racing. You don't have control on your mind. You're overthinking.
So you pause.
You pause, you sit back, you sit down, reflect. What am I really doing?
Right.
Let's put this down on paper. Let's write it out. Let's understand the pros, cons.
So in 10 years of building something, there are usually moments where the doubt gets very loud. Not the regular hard days, a real season where you genuinely wondered if this was even going to work, because it was your idea. And the idea was born, out of the necessity that you saw in the market. But would you take responsibility for the fact on such a really low day that, what am I doing? How do I go through with this? I'm already invested, so many years into this now.
98% of apparel brands fail. Whether it's kids, whether it's women's, whether it's men, they fail. So the doubt always persists. People around you question your choices as well, because they just feel that maybe it's not a growable model. It's not a model where you can actually make money out of. Okay. But the truth is that if you know that you can do it, and it does require a lot of work. I think tech has made work easy, but it does require a lot of work, a lot of data to be seen, a lot of detailing to be got into, a lot of number crunching to be done. If you are able to do that,
So
I
you're
don't
spending
see
more time on the research as well as the process. Is that something that you think,
I think
under 14 is
I think
different from the other brands?
80% of your work happens on an Excel sheet or a planning sheet.
Yes.
It's only 20% that actually happens in execution.
I would like to say planning never ends, because the constant thing that in every business today is change, evolving.
Of course.
So,
And that's the fun of it.
Right. So, tell me more about what is the change that is constant in your business?
Okay, let's start from our journey. Okay, so when we started back then, there were no international brands. We came in because there was a space which we wanted to address for the parents of India.
So, what was the platform when you started? Was it a physical store? It was on St. Mark's Road.
Yes. We did have a physical store. We were also present in large format stores. Large format stores are stores like your Reliance Trends, your Shoppers Stop, your Centrals. And we started our journey at Reliance Trends.
So, you took shelf space from them?
Yes.
Is that what I use, or rack spaces?
Well, we are called public label, and their own labels are called private labels.
Okay.
Okay, wherein they give you a certain area and you set up your shop there. You do your own sales, you train your own sales staff, and whatever is sold, the rest is returned.
Okay.
Okay, called SOR typically.
And what is the cycle? How many days does it last on that shelf?
No, cycle depends on you. As a brand, we are very quick to turn around our inventory, which is called inventory turn, another parameter that you need to measure. So inventory turn is very important, and when it cannot be maintained because certain products are not selling, then you take a call and you pull them out or you put them on discount.
Okay.
But to track that is where I said your data has to come in. Your
Right.
80% of your work is on sheets.
So Reliance was the first.
Yes.
Then you had your individual store on St. Mark's.
Individual store, Reliance Trends.
And then how
then
did you move on?
online, then
Why
Centrals,
did you come
then
online?
Shoppers, then well, the whole 9 yards. We believed in the platform.
I'd like to
online.
go through the curve of, the change that you had to bring in or adapt.
So when you walked in, there are no international brands. So your acceptability rate is a lot higher. The only international brand back then was UCB. Okay. Then international brands walk in. The modus operandi of large format stores changes. They are more moving towards private labeling than public labels. And then you realize that you have to adapt to that.
Correct.
And either have exclusive collections for them or move out and start finding your space in the unorganized market, which is called multi-brand outlets, which are regional stores that stock other brands and put them on shelves like traditionally, or nowadays hang them as gracefully as large format stores. So you adapted to that. Then you realize that you want to go online, but the way online sells in India is very different. It's largely discount. So how do you adapt to that market? How do you then price? What is your product strategy back then? Do you keep the same products offline, online? That's a challenge that you resolve.
So
And
when
then-
you said online, what was the platform you sold on?
So we are actually currently there on all platforms that are there currently
When you
online, which is
started.
like the big ones. Okay. And when we started, we first sold on Myntra and First Cry.
Okay.
Okay. And First Cry, of course, for obvious reasons, they are the one of the only few retailers who's successfully addressing only children's wear.
Yes.
Okay, so that of course, and we had a great experience with online platforms.
Are you still with them?
Yes, of course, we are.
Okay.
We're doing really well there, and it is a platform we cherish.
And that is under your own brand, under 14.
Everywhere under our own brand, under
okay.
14.
That's right. So there's no white labeling.
No, there's no
Okay.
white label. We are a company that runs from design to manufacture to retail.
Right.
So all three verticals are handled by us.
Do you put yourself in the design vertical as well?
As an entrepreneur, I think you have to be a little bit of everything.
But you have a good design team that's coming up.
Yes,
with it.
of course. I mean,
yeah,
nothing
manufacturing
works
is
without a team.
So I've spent some time going through your company's social handles and reading through customer feedback, looking at how the brand has talked about itself over the years and validated by your customers. And something comes through very consistently, a certain standard. Something that seems to run underneath every decision the brand has made. What is that for you? And when in this journey did you realize it was something you wouldn't compromise on? That one something that was for you.
So I think this is why the brand was created. We wanted to be an honest brand. A brand that was honest to its consumers on the quality, on the kind of products that we were delivering to them. We do believe that the only brands that actually can last forever are the brands that are honest, that are true. If I'm going to give you polyester and call it cotton, or if I'm going to give you synthetic and call it polyester,
Right.
I
The ratios are written on the label
Correct.
and may not be true to what's printed on the label.
correct. So we only promoted what we sold,
Right.
and
Transparency is something that is an asset for every company, I would say.
transparency in the front end and back end.
Yes.
What I
across
mean, what I mean is
different
even
verticals,
back
yes.
in your office, you have to be honest to your employees.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to be honest to your team, and I think you have to understand where they are coming from.
Mm.
If they have to follow a rule book, they're not going to love it. They're not
Yeah.
going to enjoy it. I
They
think
need space for expression as well.
exactly.
and
I
put
think
forth
we
their
need to
ideas.
understand that they also have needs. They also have goals in their head, and
Yeah.
how can we enable them to get there?
Right. They're not robots.
So,
yeah.
so I think that was there from day one, and it came from the fact that we were taught that while we were growing up.
At home.
Yes,
So
and
that gets implemented.
so that
in
of course,
at
yes,
work.
and our repeat rate, yes, has been a phenomenal 65%, which is very rare in an apparel industry.
Very nice.
Okay, but the repeat rate comes because we understand that the life cycle of a customer for us is quite large.
Mhm.
The customer who walks in at say 3 years can stay with us all the way up till 13,
Okay.
and will require clothes every 3 months, and we are very clear that we want to tap on to that.
Yes.
We want to be that. If he has a wallet of 1,000 rupees for buying kids apparel for everyday wear, we want that 1,000 rupees.
Right.
Okay, so how we're going to dominate that wallet is how we actually place our social media, how we actually place our website, is how we actually even create our own products.
Right. I think that is the highest revenue generator, right? Like your repeat customers for you. And it's also satisfying to see that quality bit is also, met.
Yes, yes. I think more than quality, I think it is an emotion that you address. No brand is really created on the fact that you are giving a product. Product can only sell itself as long as you have a story to sell behind it. If you do not have a story to sell behind it, if you do not have an emotion that you're connecting with your consumer, then you cannot sell.
Right. When I said kids brand, I pay for the product, and but my kid wears it. And today's children have a mind of their own. So how do you put that on your research table to say that the kids are demanding this? And it's grown over generations, right? So that's what they want in terms of color, in terms of fashion, in terms of comfort. But the mother or the father, the parent, is looking at more things: the sustainability, the value for it, and like you said, the truth of the fabric, whether it's going to be linen or cotton and so on.
So let me put it like this. We have two customer bases. There is one customer base which is parents all the way up to the age of, now it's decreasing slowly from 9, it's gone down to 7, now it's come down to 6. Parents of say 2 to 6 year olds. And then there is another customer base which is preteens and children.
Right.
So now let's understand, the preteens and the children, are they the final buyers? No, they're not. They are the buying influence on their parents. So what we try and do is we try to create apparel which the parents will relate to, but has the element that a child would love.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, a preteen cannot be called a child. Okay, a preteen is a young adult.
There's a lot of psychology behind this. Huh? So you study the child and then you get into that, what is in his mind. Her mind.
Yeah. So the child is not going to be like if you're going to call a 12-year-old, "Arey bacha idhar aaja," he's going to look at you and snap.
Right.
Who's a kid out here?
Yeah.
So I think it is, you cannot call him a child. He's a young adult. And I think we need to address that. And that is what we do on our apparel. Therefore, we have a split collection.
Okay.
Okay, so there are some things that run through and through. Okay, but some things that run only up till the age of 8. Okay, because those things we know a preteen will not relate to.
Yes, I wanted to touch this not more so as the categories of what you offer, but for the underlying factor that you do study the psychology of the children, which is a necessity to say at what point in time, how do I address this particular age of a child.
Yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
have
So,
to.
Shriya, we said your first store was on St. Mark's Road, which was a physical store. So, I'm sure there's a curve, and we spoke of change and the constant change of how to move to different platforms for sale. Then you went into Reliance, then you went into First Cry, and so on and so forth. Today, you are on different online platforms. And I'm sure there was in between all of this, we had COVID. Right. So you're a 10-year-old brand. So maybe when you were 4 years or 5 years into the making of the brand, we had COVID.
Yes.
How did you battle the difficulties and the challenges that came about?
So actually, we got really lucky because by then we had onboarded on most online platforms, and we were going to ship out our inventory when COVID happened, and we didn't ship it out.
Okay.
So we were inventory heavy on the online platforms.
Okay.
And it worked very well for us. The only problem was the government had not considered as us as one of the necessary items to sell,
Yes.
even during lockdown.
COVID was health first,
Yeah.
survival first, I would say.
Correct.
So let's talk about the business challenges that happened during COVID.
Yeah. So, but the truth remains that kids outgrow clothes.
Yes,
So even though an adult may not want to go and shop,
right.
may not want to go and buy clothes because he's all the time wearing pajamas or track pants, a kid cannot wear that short and he cannot wear that t-shirt. So he needs clothes. Or he or she, whoever it is. So we started getting calls. When will your website go live? When can we buy clothes? How can we get clothes? Is it possible for you to ship out clothes? And then you realize that what a necessity you're solving. Luckily, when we went back live, because we had online inventory and inventory in our warehouses to ship out, COVID went beautifully for us.
Oh, okay.
Where most businesses would say that we struggled, we loved it.
You were on the other side.
Because we also planned our inventory, and that is when we actually learned inventory planning. Because we planned our inventory to the T.
You need to be really tight because that is the the resource you have maybe for manufacturing it. That is the
also is your
resource for
working capital.
logistics. Yeah, and
Yeah.
your capital.
Yes, and also in a way, you have to be tight also because you cannot have products lying everywhere. If offline is shut, it's shut. And when COVID opened up, it was that judgment call that we had to take. Should we move everything from offline to online, or should we still keep it offline? Are people still comfortable going to stores? Are people not comfortable? That whole inventory planning, keeping the right amount of inventory, keeping base stock, planning replenishment for online, deciding what goods stay online, deciding what kind of discounts. The difference between an online and non-offline market was taught to us by COVID.
Right.
And then when we came out as winners, the kick that you get as an entrepreneur or the joy that you experience is something unbelievable.
Wonderful. So you had customers who chose online during COVID, or rather that was the only way to get your
Yes,
products
of
online.
course.
And post-COVID times, when the markets were normal, did you find the same customers go to your physical stores, or were they already adept with being online and that's what I want to do?
Well, I don't think the physical stores ever got back that kind of traction.
Right.
Okay.
I think in all fields, I'm not only speaking about
yes, but
clothing.
your online actually lost a lot of traction. So where in
Online, you-
yes,
Okay.
yes, because it got split. Right? So where you were receiving, say, just to give you an example, 100
Right.
orders a day.
So you had to share the burdens
Yeah,
on both sides.
it got
yeah.
shared. And that is where the trick part came in, right? Which was managing the inventory that such that you're also catering to your offline stores, but you're also catering to your online stores. Whether it is to map that my online customer went offline is very hard.
So coming to 2026, where we are today, we've also read that your expansion has gone really well, that you've had 100 touch points. You can throw some light on that.
Yeah, so you adapt to times. So when large format stores decided to go private with their labels and keep very few public labels, although we still have a presence in our large format stores, we decided to target the not so formalized markets. So we started targeting smaller tier 2, tier 3 cities which had aspirational parents, which had kids who aspired to look like that social media.
And that's a huge market, I believe, right?
Yeah, who looked at looking like that particular model on social media,
Mm.
or that particular blogger or influencer, or
Do
the
you have
YouTube
influencers
artist.
even in kidswear?
The parents.
Hmm.
Parents come in as influencers with their children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they are called mom bloggers or mom influencers.
Right.
Okay, so they usually promoting only kids products.
Okay.
But kid himself cannot be on Instagram
Hmm.
below the age of 13. So
Yes.
you don't have really kid influencers, but you have YouTubers
Hmm.
who impact your decision making.
But some kid celebrity wore this. Would that influence a person's choice?
Well, surprisingly, no, because we spotted actually quite a few celebrities wearing our products, and we
Mm.
kind of put them out, and
Hmm.
doesn't really impact.
Doesn't matter.
Because kidswear
The
is
parameters
not,
are different for
yeah,
choice of buying kidswear products by moms, right?
Kidswear is not. So it works to your advantage and disadvantage. Kidswear is not brand focused.
Hmm.
It is more focused towards, I like this, the price point is great, it works for me for
It's
6
more
months.
simple. Yeah.
It works for me for 6 months, and this is it.
Now we're talking about the success of a point of sale to 100 points of sale, but I'm sure in the middle, when the journey felt hard, this gap was really wide. Maybe you were at 3 points or 4 points of sale, and your vision was to go international. So how did you deal with that as an emotion?
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge has been that you're a bootstrap brand.
Hmm.
So when you're a bootstrap brand, there's only so much that you can put on, say, an inventory, or on, say, the way the store looks, or on your branding, or on your marketing, or on your.
There's a boundary to the dream.
Yes. Okay. So the progress we always knew in a bootstrap brand is going to be slower but more sustainable.
Hmm.
We wanted to be that 1 or 2% that actually lasts than that 98% that fails.
Yeah. Right.
So that kind of kept us very grounded. And even though we could see that, okay, it's coming, but it's far. It's
Yeah.
coming, but it's far. But we learned patience.
A lot of patience, yes.
We learned perseverance. We learned to live with the good and the bad that was thrown at us. Okay, and that is why I say running a startup or running a business is like an evolving journey where you
And-
yourself
yeah.
are getting polished internally as well.
At such points in time, did you find yourself starving for funds, or you wanted to raise funds? Because by then also the fashion had increased, fashion of fundraising for your business.
So it was always a question that was raised in a boardroom. It was always a question that was discussed largely in a boardroom.
Yeah.
And it was always when.
Hmm.
Okay, we do realize that the apparel industry is very non-technical.
Hmm.
Typically, when you would receive an employee in an apparel industry, even knowledge of basic computer skills is very low.
Hmm.
We did feel that to kind of, if we were going to expand that fast and going to raise those kind of funds, we needed to be equipped on our back end that much better.
Hmm.
So the last 4 years of our journey has only been that.
Hmm.
To equip ourselves in the back end to that level where now today, if we have to go like boom, 100 to 1,000 or 100 to 2,000 or 100 to 1 lakh, we're ready.
Do you think today's technology has been an influence in your business, say in the world of AI? How is it that you are bringing that parallel into your business on a practical note?
Very honestly, apparel business has changed because of AI.
Okay, and tell us how.
And I think any employee that today walks into our company or our organization is taught basic AI compulsorily. Okay, some people are able to adapt to it, and the ones who are not able to actually quit.
Okay.
The truth is that AI has actually integrated into every department of our company.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is in terms of designing, whether it is in terms of market research, whether it is in terms of CRM, whether it is in terms of just understanding your consumer demands, just understanding, workflows and automating workflows, because apparel industry is an industry of variables. One apparel that you're wearing today, say you're wearing that shirt, beautiful shirt, it has draw cords, it has the clips that are holding the draw cords, it has buttons,
Many
it has
components to
it has
making
too
of
many
it, yeah.
variables. If one variable does not arrive on time, the manufacturing is going to stop.
Right.
So for all of it to work,
Supply chain.
The supply chain has to be maintained to the T. Now, if you have AI that automates some of its processes, that is sending reminders to your suppliers,
It's more efficient
that it is due at this
in the way
date,
you work. Yeah.
your human element of error is reducing.
Yes.
And when you reduce that human element of error and you use AI to create dashboards for your vendor that this is due on this date, you're delayed by 20 days.
Your scheduling, your calendars are more efficient, and that would reflect on your work and progress, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Did the
Okay.
staffing change in your company as well because of AI?
No, actually, we trained them.
Okay.
We actually trained them, but we were not ready to let go of our people. The average
Replace.
duration an employee stays with us is anywhere between 7 and 9 years.
Wow, that's very
And
nice.
we're only a 10-year-old brand.
Right, so that's all of its lifetime, maybe, or 3/4 of its lifetime.
So, there was no way we were going to get rid of those really loyal employees and those really good assets that we had developed. But we had to get them to our page. And we worked
Right.
hard enough to do that and break myths and break barriers. And that is why training of AI maybe took longer. So my break point with my the company that we're running and AI is that use AI only in 3 places, objectively, okay, to replace an outsourced thing. Okay, so for example, if your photo shoots are coming in from a model and your backdrop color needs to be changed, which means it again has to go back to the photographer and he has to change it, just do it using AI. Okay. Second, to enhance your thinking. Don't use it to think. Because if you use it to think, your brain will stop thinking. So you think, you put it out there, let it enhance it. That's what its job is. Okay, and the third is that if you're spending, say, 10 hours to do the same task, which is mundane, which does not require real thinking, it's just mechanical, then use AI. So those are the only 3 places we encourage them to use AI. Do we ask them to replace their brains? Not at all.
Let's get to our rapid fire segment. Quick ones now. First answer that comes to your mind is what will go out. How do you genuinely switch off, not sleep, actually decompress?
By either cooking or hearing music.
One belief about building a brand that you had when you started that you know was completely wrong.
Well, you thought that, yeah, of course, it's a long journey, but you'll get there in like 3-4 years. It's
not that short. So one thing you wish more Indian parents understood about what goes into a piece of clothing their child wears every day.
I think how important comfort and fabric are.
Something you celebrate that has nothing to do with revenue or growth.
I celebrate every single undivided attention that I'm able to give to my children.
Wonderful. Okay, so a little of a depth question, one last one, and I want you to take your time with it. If you could sit across from the version of yourself that was just beginning this journey, don't advise her, don't warn her, don't protect her from anything, but just tell that young Shriya the truth about what this is going to be. What would you say?
Well, honestly, if I was to sit back and see myself back then to now, I don't think I relate to that person anymore. I don't understand that person anymore. I think that person was very young, was very in the flare of things, was not thinking through, was just kar lenge. And I think that attitude works. Okay, and now I think as time has progressed, you realize that there is so much more that goes into it. And what I cannot wait for is to see what next. Because, I feel like that is the only thing that drives me, that constantly learning and evolving and adapting and learning and evolving. That is so much fun for me that I didn't absolutely anticipate that in the beginning of my journey. That it is going to be like this.
So if it were 2 things, what would you tell her?
Be ready for the constant grilling and the constant changes and the constant reworking on rethinking and the heartbeat going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Because a younger version of any of us, we have a blind belief that this is going to be the best, and I know it all, right? But then the older we grow, we accept the lesser we know. Yes.
So that is the one thing I would tell her. And the second thing I would tell her is nothing on this earth is out of reach. Whether it is managing 10 things together, whether it is...
You can do it.
Yeah. You know, I just realized that if I want to do it, I know I can do it.
Would you bring one particular change in that younger self of yours?
I have no regrets really. So there is no change that I really want to bring about, you know.
You're happy with the journey you've
Yeah,
had? Yes.
I just absolutely love it. And I can't wait to see what's next, as I said earlier.
Shriya, thank you not for the milestones which are real and earned. Thank you for the honesty, for going to the places in this conversation that are harder to talk about. The doubt, the cost, the vision that kept going, even when the reality didn't match it. You wore multiple hats as a mom. We saw it as a co-founder, as a person who could drive ideas and have visions. And today, you're already almost there. And also you told yourself what you needed to do was just enjoy the journey, the younger self, that there would not be much change in what you had experienced. So this is what Stories of Scale is built for, and you gave it fully today. Thank you so much, Shriya Agarwal.
Thank you, Shruti. We had a great time. Thank you so much.
To everyone who listened, thank you for being here. If something in this conversation stayed with you, a moment that felt familiar, a question you found yourself answering in your own head, drop it in the comments. In our next episode, we will have her co-founder and husband, Abhishek Agarwal. He will be talking about the manufacturing side, rather the business to business and the exporting of garments. That is a legacy business in their family.